Chúng ta có một bài thực tập khi
We have a practice when we look into the mirror.
chánh niệm là đài gương.
Mindfulness is the great mirror showing the four elements. The most beautiful is love and the wide open view. Because the wide open view is the view that brings about acceptance. And love is the most beautiful things in life.
Một tác phẩm hồi họa,
A work of art or a song
nó đẹp thật.
is very beautiful, but all of that compared to love is not as meaningful. Love is the most beautiful.
Chánh niệm là đài gương.
Mindfulness is a great mirror showing the four elements.
Đẹp nhất là tình thương.
The most beautiful is love and the wide open view. Every morning we brush our teeth, we just look into the mirror. We have some time, just look at our face and we can see our body is made of the four elements, and smile a little bit. Smile to yourself. Give yourself a smile so we have less tension. Mindfulness is the mirror showing the four elements. And most beautiful is our love and the wide open view. Do we have the spring of love flowing in us? What are we doing today so that the spring of love inside us has water? We have to practice to see everyone with a wide view of love. The Buddha taught us to practice looking with the eyes of Avalokitesvara, because Avalokitesvara looks with the eyes of compassion. So while we brushing our teeth, look at ourselves in the mirrors, and we learn to love ourselves, to come back to ourselves, to make that spring of love within us to have water. And we should learn to see our brother and sister with this wide open view. And once we're able to do this, that person feel well, and you also feel well as well. Our view is not a view of looking, scrutinizing, judging, and trying to find fault. But this is a view that's embracing. The view of the way the mother would look at her child. If we want our trainings to improve, then we should use a notebook that we can write down, because each day gives us the gift of 24 hours. It's very precious. We have one full day to practice. So why do we take it so lightly a day? 24 hours that was given to us to practice, so we should try our best. When we guide a day of mindfulness, and we can make a very careful plans. This person will give a Dhamma talk, this person will do sitting meditations or guided meditations, and who would read the 5 contemplations, and we can organize it very carefully. But it's the day that we live in the meditation, we should practice, we should organize it like that very carefully. Do not just let ourselves float like the weeds on the river. We should take sovereignty over the day, organize our day so that it can be valuable to us, so that each moment can help grow and enlarge that love within us. We should have a notebook, a pen. Why don't we do that? In the morning we sit. Why don't we use that time to practice? to look deeply and to see that today how I should live, so that today becomes a precious gift from us to ourselves and from us to other people. Why do we have to sit and wait until the end of the sitting period? When we sit, we can use that time to look deeply into this. And each of us can bring a notebook to bring into our meditation place. Of course, during sitting, we don't think of nonsense or use it to do other kind of work. But during sitting, if we to look deeply and see something that was beautiful in us and in others, we can write them down. And that could help us in our practice. And we help makes that day to be happy. And if that day we're happy, then other people around us, a brother and sister, will also feel happy. We use our unlimited, immeasurable love to embrace and cover the whole cosmos. So unlimited, immeasurable. So this is the immeasurable mind. And the metta can grow unlimited, immeasurable. So that's why you call it immeasurable kindness. There are things that only grows to a certain level, but with loving kindness, it can grow unlimited. We use our boundless love to offer to all beings in the entire cosmos. Whether it's above, below, left or right, there will be no obstacles. When the situation is difficult or the other person betrays or they resent us or they find ways to harm us, all of that cannot be the obstacle to our love, because the true purpose is to just love. Even if the other person is not very lovable, we still love them. That's what it's called by loving kindness. If the person is already so easy to love, then there's no practice. It's just a part of us benefiting from them. We love what's not lovable. That is true love. Loving the unlovable. We see that person get angry or vengeful or narrow-minded, selfish or foolish or suffering. We're the same. We can feel that this person has not a chance to meet friends or a teacher on the path. Instead of getting angry with this person, we try to create opportunities so that they can escape or go beyond the situation. So that's what it means by no obstacles can prevent it. So love, we're using love against the anger and hatred. This is the practice of loving kindness. Loving kindness meditation is the only medicine to treat anger and hatred. In the Dhammapada Sutra, the Buddha said you cannot use hatred to treat hatred. You can only use love to respond to hatred. This is something that is a permanent sentiment, that you can only use love to treat hatred. Because anger and hatred are already inside us, and with that can cause us to have suffering inside, and we can also cause suffering to others. Whenever you are, while you sit, walking, or lying, you are doing it in mindfulness. The loving compassion is not just a statement. It's not just something that you only do in the morning. It's something that you nurse it in each moment of the day. That's why it's called being mindful of love. This mindfulness of love, so that love can always be there throughout the day. To walk is also to love. To sit is also to love. To lie down is to love. To work is also to love. All the activities in our lives are done with love. Motivated by love. Sit, walk, laying down. That's what it means. When we feed the baby food and the baby won't eat, and we say, okay, eat 1 spoon for mom, 1 spoon for grandma, 1 spoon for grandpa. So you motivate the kids with love. So we know that love is very important. We love ourselves, we love our parents, we love our Sangha, we love humankind, and we love our ideals. So our action has to be motivated by that love. We are the symbols of love, and we are the spring source of love. Mindfulness of love, it means the presence of the energy of love. When the energy of love is not there, that means there's no mindfulness of love. So when we have mindfulness of love, we go into the concentration of love. And if we live in this concentration of love, it's very beautiful, because the place where we live is the address of the bodhisattva and the Buddha, because that the zip code is of loving kindness, equanimity, joy, and compassion. So if we want to live with the mindfulness of love, then we know that we are living together with the bodhisattvas. And once that concentration is extinguished, then and we fall down to anger and resentment, then we know that we had left the city of love. You have left the city of love, and you have left the Buddha and Bodhisattva. The lifestyle of love is the most beautiful lifestyle. This is a repetition that says that loving kindness is the most noble way of living. Free from wrong views, greed, and sensual desires, living in beauty and realizing perfect understanding. So wrong views is a wrong perception, and we don't want to go into those wrong views, wrong perceptions, and we have to practice, look deeply. And once there's less wrong views, then and our desires will be less. And at that time, we can live a healthy lifestyle. And we realize the great understanding of the Buddha. And once we have gone to the perfect understanding, then we won't live in the realm of suffering anymore. Let's enjoy the sound of the bell.
chúng ta học với bài chuyển niệm.
So now we're
Chuyển niệm ở
talking
đây nó có nghĩa là
about
chuyển từ tụng kinh sang niệm không có gì hết.
Transference of
Chúng ta
the merit.
đang tụng kinh bây giờ
So
chúng ta
it
hết
means
rồi, chúng ta chuyển thành niệm.
we changing from the chanting the sutra to chanting the Buddha's name.
Hành trình là bây giờ đấy. Bây giờ ở đây chúng ta
means
rất là thanh tịnh.
this means like currently our mind is very calm. Calm because it's settled down. That afflictions and sufferings are not disturbing us, as if we are a cool lake in the autumn, because we've been able to listen to the Dhamma. It's very beautiful that we have been able to live more than half an hour or an hour in chanting the discourse. So our mind becomes clear and calm. And the words from the sutta brings about our calmness. When I sit, when we sit, sitting meditations is very Vietnamese. We practice sitting meditation. We practice kinh hành, which is the walking meditation. So the word kin here, it means, or the sutra, it means to walk, that you walk through, to go through. This word is kinh tuyến, as in it has this definition, strength of going as a thread. When you bind together a book of the sutra, you have to put the needle through the thread to go through all the pages in the book so that no pages will fall out. So that's what it means to go through kin, and to preserve and keep so that nothing will fall out. So that's what they mean by kin, this going through. Sutra. In the definition of the teachers is to look through all the beautiful concepts and ideas so that nothing will fall out. So it's almost like you string a string of beads so that no beads will fall out. So that string, it keeps all the jewel beads into a string, and to let nothing fall out. So that's what it means by walking meditation, so that your mindfulness go through all of your steps, so that no steps will fall out of mindfulness. So this is very hard to translate. If you say walking sutra, is very funny. Walking meditation is a type of meditation that you go slow, and each step is in mindfulness. If you're able to walk 100 steps, then you have 100 steps in mindfulness. And if you do it well, then you have 100 steps. And if not, we do as well, maybe some steps will fall into forgetfulness and you think about this or that. So that string that we use to put through the beads, then that means our practice is incomplete. So the practice of walking meditation is a practice of walking in the Pure Land. If one steps that you step into resentment and anger, and that means that step is outside. It falls out. It's not in this. It's not in the string of beads. We can do walking meditation silently, and we can use the Gatha, I have arrived, I'm home, or I'm taking refuge, or here is the Pure Land. But the essential thing is that each step is to step in mindfulness and not into the realm of angry and sadness or resentment. When we are walking and we chant the Buddha's name, Namo Tassa Bhagavata, you call the Buddha's name is to walk with the Buddha and to walk with the steps of the Buddha. Namo Sakyamuni. So this is the practice of chanting, reciting the Buddha's name. Buddha Anusmriti.
Recollection of the Buddha.
Recollections of the Buddha.
Recollection of the Buddha.
Recollection of the Buddha, of the Buddha, the Sangha, the Dhamma. While we are doing walking meditation silently, or when we're walking meditations and recollects the Buddha's name, so we have to maintain a mindfulness so that no steps will fall out. If you follow the Gatha, then you follow the Gatha, or you recollect the Buddha's name, you do that. During those times, we do not go out of that mindfulness. So, to recite the sutra, we know what the sutras say, but we still recite the sutra again. Because this is not about learning or studying, but this is a practice. To recite the sutra is to water the good seeds in us that we don't have. We read the sutra, we understood the sutra, but we still recite the sutra. Because each time we do that, the seed of understanding and wisdom inside us are water. So it's very important to recite the sutra. But it's only important if we recite with mindfulness. If we just do it mechanically, if we just worry about reciting with our mistakes and we don't think about the meanings of the sentence of the sutra, then it's useless, because it's just based on the forms and very little content. It may be that we recite the sutra for 10 years and we still don't fully understand it. But that one night you're reciting that, and then all of a sudden it broke open. It broke open and we start to understand. So we have to be very patient. And each time we recite, it's like an axe chopping down onto that block of ignorance within us. It's like you are making needle from a block of iron. The block of iron may seem hard to break, but the teachings of the Buddha and the ideas that each day shine light for us, so that one day we think it's just the same time that we recite the sutras, the countless time we have done, but it's not. This time all of a sudden we escape, we understood. That's what it means, awaken, to realize. Loving to listen, to recite the sutra all my life, but awaken is in one moment. The three jewels are the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. The three jewels are two types. The types that đồng thể, it means these three jewels are of the same quality. And the second type of jewels are, we see that the Dhamma is different, the Buddha is different, and the Sangha is different. So he's writing đồng thể, tam bảo, which is the three jewels of the same quality, same thing. And big tướng, tam bảo is the one below where you see the three jewels as different. In its essence, the three jewels are the same essence. But if you look in terms of just signs only, then you might see that the three jewels are different. The Buddha is the Buddha, the Dhamma is the Dhamma, and the Sangha is the Sangha. But looking deeply, we see that the Buddha is the Buddha because there is the Dhamma and the Sangha, and the Sangha is there because there's the Buddha and the Dhamma, and the Dhamma is there because there's the Buddha and the Sangha. So that's why you see each of this, each of the different jewel, you see the essence of the three jewels of the same essence. So Long Thiên, Naga, Deva. So these are the dragon Deva. So these are the other other kinds of beings that along with human that will protect the Dhamma, because the dragons and the heavenly Devas, they are also the students of the Buddha. Beside that, there are other kinds like Atula, Yakswa, Asura, and Yaksa. They also come and study with the Buddha. So we chant, recite the sutra. We think that there's only our brother and sister listening, but there are also the heavenly beings and the dragons that come to listen. There are those who are above in the sky, and there are above who comes and they sit on the ground. So we recite the sutra. It's not just for ourselves and our brother and sister, but we recite the sutra for all. There's a sentence that says there are those of the heavenly beings, Atula beings, Yakswa, and the dragon beings. They come to listen to the Dhamma. Then you have to use all of your heart and to help protect the Dhamma. So when we chant to the sentence, that we have to see that there are the heavenly beings above the temple roof, and the dragons also above that, and other beings. So we have to chant with all of our heart and with our mindfulness, so that all beings can benefit from that. Because wherever there is the Dhamma, there is the conditions for liberation. And we are creating the rain, the Dhamma rain. And we also help with the fourfold communities. So you have come here to listen to the Dhamma, to practice, and to support this temple and this meditation center. The practice center is Đạo Tràng. So that means the place of the Dhamma, of the practice. You should protect and support this Dhamma center, Đạo Tràng, and the fourfold community, which are the monks and the nuns, and the laymen and the monastic, and the layman, laywoman. So those are the fourfold. And the heavenly beings, dragons, asura, atula, maho, yala, and all these beings come to listen to the Dhamma, and we should find, and they find ways to support this practice center and the people who come here to practice. So when we chant, we have to see the presence of all of these beings, and we wish that they will have benefits from this, and they would support them. If we support them by chanting the sutra with all of our heart, with mindfulness, and they will support us. Because the heavenly beings and the dragons, they are around us, and they know if we're doing something that is in violations of the law. They know, and they can be disappointed in us. We might think we can hide things from our brother and sister, but we cannot hide from the heavenly beings, the devas. So do not let them be disappointed in you, and they won't support you. So when we practice well and we keep our precepts well, then the heavenly beings will support us. So we will be free from the 8 accidents. Usually these 8 accidents are is to talk about difficult situations where the right Dhamma is not present. 8 situations when the Dhamma is not available. That's meant to fall down to hell. Once you're in hell, then there's no Dhamma. The next is ngạ quỷ, the hungry ghost. If you're a hungry ghost, then you can't receive the Dhamma. And the third accident is to kill animals. And the fourth is a sky and the realm, a realm in the heavens, that where you only take pleasures only. So you just come there and go to the bars like in Bordeaux, in Paris. You just go there or you just go to dance, discotheque. So you go there just to enjoy the pleasures only. These are the sky realms of sensual desires. So this is a fifth accident. They are the faraway areas that there's no civilizations and the Dhamma cannot reach. It means to live in a border, in a far away, so that the culture cannot reach or the Dharma cannot reach. The next accident is those who are mute or who are disabled, who are deaf, who have disabilities, who don't have the chance to hear the Dhamma or cannot see to read the sutra. And this, the ninth accident is Thay Chí Biện Thông. That means a person who is talented and very good at argument and persuasions. So they use the logic of life, of their play life. So this is a great accident. There might be very simple monastic who talk very simple and act very simple, but they're able to truly represent the merits and the blessing of the Dhamma and the Buddha's teaching. So there's another person who is very whose tongue is very fluid. Everything he say, he can turn it upside down. So he cannot receive the teaching from that Buddha, from that teachers. So this is mean the teachings of. So this means he used the logic of of the he used the logic of just the regular. So that he can say things that say anything through or change it through. If someone say, "Oh, life is suffering," then he would say, "No, there's no suffering. I'm not suffering." So he can say it very cleverly. There's those of us, we know we have these seeds of saying things, flipping it. So it can be dangerous. And the last part is the accident is to be born before or after the Buddha. We are not those who are born after the Buddha. We are the people who are born at the same time as the Buddha, because the teaching is still here, the Buddha is still here, and the Buddha is available each day for us, around us and inside us. So those are the 8 accidents. Aside of that, they are in the Vinaya, the 4 parts. It can be also the government, the accident from the government. The government don't let us, suppress us, and do not let us practice. And the second accident is from war. And the third accident is from fire. And the fourth accident is from flood. One, two, three, four, five. The next accident is very strange. It's human. Because there are many people who don't want the right Dhamma, and they try everything so that the Dhamma is not able to be available. And the next accident is those who are non-human. Non-human beings, there are many types. And the 8th type are the poisonous beings. So those are the other. Those are the 8 dangers in that. And there's also the 3 paths. The 3 realms of sense. The 3 paths. This is from hell and Atula and the killing of beings. So first is the government, the accidents or the governments, war and fire, flood, and illness. I forgot about illness. Illness is the 5th, humans the 6th, non-humans are the 7th, and the poisonous insects are the 8th. So the 3 path here is the 3 path to darkness. The seeds of hell is in us, the seed of hungry ghost is in us, and the seed of non-human beings are in us. So if we do not practice, then those seeds will manifest, and we walk in those paths of darkness, and we don't know. So we have to practice these so that we can be liberated from the 8 accidents and the 3 path of darkness with the assistance of the 3 jewels. The 8 accidents and the 3 path of darkness, we can go beyond, we can escape, and we have the 4 gratitudes. The gratitudes for teachers, our families, and friends, and others. So the 4 kinds of people are absorbed with the merit, the great blessings of the Buddha. So hồng here is mean great, as in the great bow. So that's how you write the word hồng, great. This word means the wild geese, but it also means blessing. So the 3 realms are the sensual desire, the forms and the formless realms. So in the 4, we have our parents, our friends, our teachers, and all the beings in the 3 realms of sensual forms and formless realms. So we want all of them to be absorbed with the great blessing of the Buddha. And the word everywhere, there's no war with the favorable weather, and everyone's in harmony. So this is a practice of meditation, metta, that we wish for, to have no war.
Mình mong ước là
We wish
không nơi nào có chiến tranh.
that there's no war in any
Và sự mong
place.
ước này cần phải được lặp lại.
And this wish needs to be
Nếu chúng ta lặp
repeated.
lại cái mong ước đó,
If we repeat
thì
this
chúng ta sẽ
wish,
có cơ hội
then we have a chance
làm
to
được cái gì
do something
để ngăn
to
chiến
prevent
tranh.
war.
Và chúng ta sẽ không làm
And we
bất cứ
won't
một
do
cái gì
anything that
để bên
will
ngoài
to
của chiến
light
tranh,
up the
để
fuel
ủng
of
hộ cho
war,
chiến tranh.
to start a war,
Khắp nơi, thế giới khắp nơi không
to
chiến
have
tranh,
the
gió
word
hòa, mưa
everywhere,
thuận,
to
đến
be at
an
peace,
lạc.
no
Gió hòa,
war.
mưa thuận là nói về
And
cái thời tiết.
with the favorable weather,
Đại chúng chuyên tu
and
càng tinh tiến. Đại chúng
the great
là
and the Sangha is
Maha
diligently
Sangha.
practicing the Maha Sangha.
Dịch tiếng
If we translate it,
dịch tiếng Anh là great community. Great
in English
nó có
it's
nghĩa
called
là
great
cả.
community. It means the noble.
Nhiều
Great
khi chỉ có
means
5 người nhưng
noble
mà cũng gọi là
community.
đại chúng.
Even
Và
if we
cái
have
đại này
only
nó có
5,
nghĩa
6
là
people,
cao
we
cả,
still call it noble
đáng tôn sùng.
community. A community that is noble and that is worthy of respect.
Người địa đi lên không khó
And
khăn.
the 10 stages that we can go up with no difficulty.
Mà một
These
vị đại Bồ Tát
10
ngang qua.
10 stages, it means the 10 stages that the Buddha go through.
Điều thứ nhất là điều
So the first phase is called joy.
the stage
of joy. Mudita. Bhumi. The word bu, it means the earth, the ground. That's the face, the stage. Brahma Mudita is mean the stage of joy. The sign that show this is a bodhisattva is the joy. We practice, in our practice we have joy, and we go into the first stage, we have joy. Sometimes it's called extreme joy, but we don't need to remember too many terms for it. We just remember one term as the stage of joy. Second stage is it's meant to be away from impurity or release from our tainted aspect. Vimala, Bhumi. So these impurities and the taintedness in our body and our mind, that means we go into the second stage. We see that our mind is able to be released away from the tainted, the darkness. This is from our practice of our precepts. And so li, it means to be away from, release from. And go, it means the dirtiness, the taintedness. the impurities. And the taintedness in our mind, we can be released from, it's from, because we practice the precepts and the mindfulness trainings. And because that we're able to be released from the taintedness, that slowly our practice, we can become bright. So that's what it means, the stage of brightness, of radiance. Brahmaviharas. Bhumi. When we practice our precepts, our trainings, that our mind is released from the taintedness, and the precepts give rise to concentration. And this light is the light of the precepts and concentration. You just notice the person who can practice the precepts well and have concentrations and live in mindfulness, then you feel like this person is exuding a radiance aura. And the fourth stage is the torch of wisdom. This wisdom, this insight, it can burn. Our insight is like a torch. It starts to burn, to light up. Arsis Smarty. Bhumi. This insight is our understanding, our deep insight. It burns away all of afflictions. So that's what it means, the torch of wisdom. This insight burns away our ignorance, our cravings, and our hatred. We remember Master Tăng Hội, he defined meditations as is to destroy, to burn, destroy some and burn some. That's what it means, meditation. And the fifth stage is to overcome difficulties. Nam Thang. Nam means difficulties, challenges. Sudachaya Bhumi. Sudachaya Bhumi. There are difficulties, challenges in our path of practice, but because we have precepts, concentrations, and insight, we're able to overcome the difficulties. One difficulty, 3 difficulties, or even 5, 6 different difficulties, we can overcome them. When we practice, we become monastics. We're not afraid. The difficulties near and far. If we have strong motivations, then all those difficulties, we can overcome them. Sometimes difficulties from our parents, from our acquaintance, and sometimes from our weaknesses in our health difficulties, we can overcome them. So that means able to overcome difficulties. And the sixth stage is hiện tiền, which means to live completely, fully in this present moment. Peace and happiness in this present moment. Abhimukhī, Bhumi. What everything is there. Everything, whether it's Pure Land, heaven, it's right here in this moment that you don't have to go seek in the future. It's right here that you don't have to go find it. Once we have arrived here, we do not think that, oh, I should go to a different place, I would have happiness, or go somewhere else, I would have happiness. Here is where I have happiness. That's what it means, hiện tiền. And the seventh stage is viễn hành, which is to go far, very far. It's not just you walk 3-4 steps and you say, no, I'm too tired, I should just lay down and rest. Because the path of a bodhisattva is very far, immeasurable. You practice 3-4 years and you think that's enough, so I can just become a monk in a village or something. That's not what it means to go far. To go far, you need to have a lot of food, you have to have a lot of motivation, great will. Duragama, Bhumi. And the eighth stage is immovable, bất động.
Bất động tức là vững chãi.
Immovable means stability.
Vững chãi như núi.
Stable as the mountain.
Bất cứ một cái phiền não nào.
With any afflictions or any seductions.
Cũng không có thể
cannot upend or cannot destabilize us. That's what it means, immovable. Akala, Bhumi. And the ninth stage is the wisdom of goodness. Sadhu Mati. Sadhu Mati. Smati is insight or wisdom, and sadhu is goodness. When you arrive at this stage, then our mind is very good, completely good. Whatever we do, we can say whatever, because all of those are in accordance with the right Dhamma. And we have the great joy, the joy of nothing that can hold back. We are complete. We are a being in complete freedom. It's very strange. All what we do and say are in accordance with the Dhamma. And the 10th stage is the Dhamma cloud. That vong. Dhammakaya. These 10 stages, we can go up through them without difficulties. It's just as if you take out a cake from the refrigerator, no difficulties. Because when we have the Sangha When we practice our manners and our mindfulness trainings, our precepts, then these 8 stages, we can go through them slowly, and we don't see there's not a lot of difficulties. This is a practice of a bodhisattva, and it's a path that's beyond. And we have to have great motivation, great will, so we can walk this path. The 10 stages, we can go up without difficulties, and the Sangha lives in harmony and happiness. The Sangha kaya, tăng thân. So this noun, people don't use it a lot before, but especially the Plum Village, we use this term a lot. Because in the sutra, we talk about the Buddha kaya, the body of the Buddha. Or we talk about the Dhamma kaya, the body of the teachings. And we use the word Sangha kaya, the body of the Sangha. The Sangha kaya is our body. We have our physical forms, but we also have our Sangha forms. We have to learn to see that our noble community, brother and sister, are us as well. That's what it means we have a Dhamma body. If we don't have a Dhamma body, then we are not a practitioner. We need to have practitioner have the Buddha kaya, the Dhamma kaya, and the Sangha kaya. We have to recognize that Dhamma kaya, the Buddha kaya is the energy of mindfulness in us, and the Dhammakaya are the teachings that and the practice that we follow, and we try to grow these 2 bodies in us each day, and the 3rd body is the Sangakaya. So if the Sangakaya, if the body is not harmony, how can the we need to have the Sangha. If we don't have the Sangha on our path of practice, how can we practice? So the Sangha, we want the Sangha, the happiness and the happiness and peace of our Sangha is the refuge for so many people, for all beings. And that includes humans. So we means to take refuge. When we live in happiness and harmony as a Sangha body together, then we can create happiness for many people, for many beings. If we don't have harmony or happiness, then we cannot be a refuge for anyone. So we need to have the Sangha to have happiness. The Sangha in the low hamlet, up hamlet, or new hamlet, or the maple forest. If the Sangha does not have happiness, then people don't have a place of refuge to come to. If we don't have refuge, how can other people rely on us? Thousands of people, millions of people who want to take refuge in us. If we know this, then we should make efforts so that our Sangha body has peace, happiness, and joy, so that all beings can have a place of refuge to come to. So this is so that we can help their practice, the merits, and their insight to become bigger. This is because they're able to take refuge in the Sangha. There are 2 types of our practice, 2 forms. First is the practice of merit.
punya,
punya,
và vô huệ.
punya. And the second practice
Là
is the insight, prajna.
Cái này tức là merit.
This is merit. One size merit. One size the practice of looking deeply.
Thì khi mà chúng ta phục vụ cho tăng thân,
we serve the Sangha body by doing garden work, washing dishes, doing sweeping the floor, then we have the merits.
So
there's a lot of merits, but this merits, if we also have the prajna, the insight, then it can be 100-fold. So when we sweep the floor, clean the toilet, wash dishes, or clean up the meditation hall, and we know how to practice to look deeply with mindfulness, then the merit can increase 100-fold, 1,000-fold. So then the insight can grow our merits. So when we give donations, or we do social service work, or we help hungry kids, to help people feeling less isolated. But we have merits, but that merit is small. If we do all that work, and we have the deep looking so that our love and understanding can grow bigger, then the effect of those works can be very great. And once our merits become great like that, then we become thick. Hậu. That means thick. When we're thick like that, then there's no wind that can beat us over, make us fall over. And there's no accident that can destroy us. And we are not afraid of anything. We're afraid because when we're thin, we're shallow. Because our merit is shallow, is thin. When our merit is thick, then we become stable as the mountain. We do not have to be afraid of anything. And to be like that, then that means when we do social work, helping work, service, we have to use those work to look deeply so that our love and understanding can grow bigger. And once our love and understanding grows bigger, then the merit become 1,000-fold. So the more the merits and the understanding gets bigger, and the more happiness. So these 4 stanzas is to praise the Buddha, to praise the recollections of the Buddha. And this stanza was translated from So this means the moon is shining brightly, and the wisdom of the Buddha manifest, and the jewel is compared to the Buddha's body, because the Buddha practiced the precepts and his mindfulness manners, so the Buddha body is shining brightly and very calm. And the Buddha means to help from the suffering, afflictions, to save from the suffering, affliction. Wherever there is suffering and the saving from suffering, that place has the Buddha. Even if you don't see the form, the 32 signs, even though you don't see the aura. But if there's somebody who's working to help with the suffering, then the Buddha is there. So to help with suffering, that is the Buddha is right there. That's the Buddha's only business, is to save beings from suffering.